full time has just gone in the Barca versus Villarreal match, and what a performance, particularly from the likes of Lamine Yamal, who got his first ever hat-trick, and of course Fermin Lopez as well. We'll get into that much more, guys, so let's do this. So yeah, looking at the stats here, the momentum was obviously mostly in our favour, but yeah, Lamine Yamal, absolute masterclass from him today. First ever hat-trick, like I mentioned in the intro. And yeah, Fermin Lopez, he had a very good game as well. But I mean, there were times in the first half where we did look a bit flat. I'm not gonna lie, we did look a bit flat at times. But for obviously the massive breakthrough, I mean, it all came from a mistake from a Guir for Villarreal. He wanted too much time on the ball, but then we pressed him well. Fermin Lopez won the ball back, drives forward, plays a nice through ball in for the Yamal, who's got loads of space in behind, and then finishes it beautifully in the bottom corner. No chance for the goalkeeper. Then we take the 1-0 lead there. Lovely stuff. And then just before half-time as well, like about 9 minutes after that first one, Yamal scores again. I mean, there was a lot of luck in this second goal, to be honest, because, yeah, I mean, he skipped past Cardona, their left back, but then he came up against Viega, and then, obviously, that didn't really it took a deflection off of him to allow Yamal to control the ball again. But the finish, you can't take anything away from that because the finish was absolutely superb from the main. Superb finish from him. And yeah, we went in half time at 2-0 up. Not bad at all. But yeah, we start the second half superbly as well. We looked lively. But then Villarreal pull one back, and it was poor defending from a set piece from a corner. It was whipped in by Nicolas Pepe. It wasn't even that much of a dangerous cross, to be fair. And then it was just ping-ponging about, but then Papi Guir was just free in the box, and easy finish for him. And at that point, I was starting to get a bit nervous because obviously, yeah, it was a bit nervy. And we do watch-alongs for these games, guys. So obviously, if you want, you can keep an eye out for them in the future. And if you want to see more, then obviously subscribe to the channel if you feel like you're enjoying the content. But yeah, Papi Guir, yeah, he pulled one back for Villarreal. And at that point, I was feeling a bit nervy. And I feel like the confidence did take a little bit of a dip after that. Ayoze Perez had a very good, amazing chance. Joan Garcia rushed out of his goal, missed the ball, and then Ayoze Perez, if he got that shot on target, it was going to be 2-2. But yeah, thankfully his shot was just wide. But yeah, but then we started to grow into the game again. I mean, there was a bit of a argy-bargy with Hansi Flick and Marcelino, their Villarreal's manager. Rafinha also got booked as well for some words he said to the referee. But yeah, eventually we managed to get the third, and it came from Lamine Yamal again, obviously, getting his first ever hat-trick in professional football. He's just the star boy, isn't he? And it came from Pedri playing an absolutely world-class through ball, splitting open Villarreal's defence with absolute ease. And Lamine the Dream, you get him in that sort of position, he'll finish it off. He's now our top goal scorer in that Liga as well, that hat-trick, so yeah, that is amazing stuff, to be fair, from Yamal. And yeah, he is just continuing to get better and better, and long may it continue. We'll definitely need this kind of finishing on Tuesday when we play against Atletico Madrid in the Copa del Rey semi-final second leg, because obviously we're 4-0 down in that one, so we're going to need a massive performance there. But yeah, and then for the rest of the game, we pretty much dominated, made a few subs. Then towards the end, Lewandowski, who came on for Ferran Torres, who, yeah, we're going to have serious conversations about Ferran because he's just not doing anything. Even in this game, he got that chance when Rafinha played in a good through ball and behind, but again, he just does nothing. He doesn't hold up the ball well. He doesn't really create any chances for his teammates. It's just so poor from Ferran. Like, I honestly think Ferran Torres just needs to stay on the bench and come on as like an impact player, because that's how he does his best stuff for us. It's never been from being a starter; it's been coming off the bench. But yeah, for Lewandowski, I mean, this goal was originally ruled offside, but after a VAR check, it was given. Yeah, good ball played through for Koundé. Then he squares it across for Lewandowski for the tap in. Of course, Lewandowski, right place, right time. 11 goals for him now in La Liga. And if we look at the other stats, XG, we had an XG of 3. I mean, XG is not really. I mean, it's an important stat, but you can't really buy too much into it, to be fair. 19 total shots, 6 big chances, so not too bad from us there. And yeah, looking at the player ratings, Mark Bernal, he was actually pretty exceptional today. And another thing to mention, Danny Olmo, I didn't think he had the greatest of games, but... And of course, he's in that midfield too with Mark Bernal. I know it says FotMob on here. FotMob says it's a 4-3-3, but no, it's more of a... we all know it's a 4-2-3-1, realistically. So yeah, Olmo, I think we've got to stop with this experiment of having Olmo and Firmin playing with each other. Like one is in the deeper midfield role and the other is in the attacking midfield, because it just doesn't work. It really doesn't. Like we just leave ourselves so exposed at times. I mean, it wasn't as bad today, but obviously in the past we've seen it. Like even in that first leg against Atletico Madrid in the Copa del Rey, we've seen it, and we just got absolutely exposed. Defense was pretty good today. Juan Garcia pulling off a few saves when he had to. Eric was solid. Balde was a bit under the weather. Well, not under the weather, but a bit under the level that needed. Of course, Cancelo's breathing down his neck at the minute because, yeah, Cancelo was after, of course, his good performance against Levante last week. Then, yeah, Cancelo was knocking on the door. Kunde, decent game from him. Of course, Firmin with the 2 assists. He was exceptional. Rafinha, I mean, he was good at times. I mean, he didn't really have that many chances to score, to be fair. And of course, it has been a bit of a hit and miss season for Rafinha because he has had injuries and stuff. So obviously not as great as the season as he had last season. But overall, Rafinha still gives his all. But of course, it was a bit worrying when he was having all those words with the referee. I thought he was going to get himself sent off for saying too much, but thankfully that wasn't the case. But yeah, and then on the bench as well, Pedri, of course, coming on. I mean, what a player he is. I honestly think I said this on a stream as well, that I feel like he is. I feel like he is literally the perfect combination of Busquets, Xavi, and Iniesta all put into one. Like he really does feel like that kind of player, like, and it's just amazing. And then Lewandowski coming off the bench as well, getting himself a goal. Of course, Araujo looked good when coming on. Rashford did as well. I mean, had a few good corners whipped in by him, and of course he had a few decent moments as well. Rooney looked decent as well coming on, but of course he didn't really have much time to affect the game. But Villarreal, I mean, they've had a good season, Villarreal, in La Liga. Of course, in the Champions League, they had an absolute disaster, but in La Liga, they've had a very good season. They're in third at the moment, but of course, they're having a good campaign. But against like teams like us and Real Madrid, it seems to be that's where they really do struggle. So yeah, if we look at the La Liga table now, if I can find it, there we go. La Liga table, we currently now sit 4 points clear of Real Madrid, but of course they do play tomorrow. Oh, no, not tomorrow, on Monday, up against Getafe. So yeah, that's going to be a interesting one. See how they can get on with that. Are they away? No, they're at home against Getafe, but of course playing against Getafe is not easy for anybody. So yeah, I mean we'll have to see how they get on in that one. But yeah, overall good win, and of course our next game, as you can see. Oh, that's the La Liga thing. What am I doing? And of course, our next game, as you can see, it's against Atletico Madrid in the Copa del Rey semi-final second leg. We are at home, but we are 4-0 down, so we're going to need a bit of a miracle. But if there's any team that can come back from 4-0 down, it's us. Thank you all for watching this video, guys. I do appreciate it. If you have, feel free to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you for the next one. Visca el Barça!